Hello, and on behalf of everyone at MashMetrics, thanks for joining us for section 1 of 6, Major Changes and Adjustments. In this section, we're going to review why Google is forcing pretty much everyone to change, how Universal completely outgrew itself, some of the improvements that are being made by GA4, and most importantly, on how you as a business can take this as an opportunity and start gaining real value from your analytics. Okay, I'm going to admit, Google hasn't necessarily gained complete confidence in GA4 yet. The rollout, well, it's kind of sucked, and it's really hard to make people change. It even may come as a surprise that the king of simplicity has made their analytics product so, well, fairly complex, and you might even say unusable and too much of a learning curve for a lot of their smaller audience. But Google.com, at least, well, they've always remained simple, elegant, for the average user. So what has happened to simple and easy? By now I'm sure you've taken a look at the interface and, well, there's quite the learning curve from the data collection model all the way to some of the complex options within the interface. Now, I feel the big issue was that they didn't really start changing soon enough. Simply put, it has been about a decade since they have made real significant changes. The launch of Google Analytics Classic, of course, in 2007. Their biggest significant change is all the way back in 2012. Now, if you put that into context to how analytics as a whole has matured, moving from simple descriptive what happened on your website to the more diagnostic analysis or true analysis, many have struggled turning their constant improvements and observations into real predictive analytics. What will happen? And of course, using that for the Holy Grail and using that maturity for prescriptive analytics. How can we make it happen? Automatically, at scale, all the time. Well, most of the time, which is the modern day promise of your customer data platform. Google will argue you can use Google Cloud to accomplish this same thing. Now, I'm not going to argue. Other organizations, Mixpanel, Amplitude, they face the same challenges. They've had better upgrades. They have a minuscule reach, however, compared to Google, and not nearly the political pressure as it relates to the privacy and utilizing its various product integrations. Built with actually reports that Google has installed on 86% of websites. 86%. Mixpanel, 0.4. Amplitude, 0.9. Even with all that being said, though, people, and in fact organizations, well, we just resist change. This data has always mattered to executives, all the way down to managers, down to your knowledge workers. Even if other tools are also in place, even if we use other tools for, say, product analytics, this has always been our historical benchmark. No one wanted to change. Drastic measures had to be taken. Quite frankly, Google was just tired of duct taping. To be perfectly honest, I fell victim to this exact same thing. In 2018, when I was looking for a new car, I definitely wanted a Ford Mustang. Quite frankly, it didn't really have any more features than the 2012. But you know what the big difference was? It was the body style, the look, the feel. It was something I was comfortable with. See, the 2012, it was the last year that really used the more iconic muscle car type of Mustang body. Now, God's honest truth, I am not just duct taping it for falseness. Mustang Sally has literally taken me coast to coast. Maybe only one time that it kind of let me down, but quite frankly, I wasn't meant to be driving that car on that day. And yeah, that actually was my license plate number up until, I'll spare the details, I unfortunately had to change. Geico said it's totaled. We are not going to fix this car. Quite frankly, I'm glad they didn't. And in July of 2023, Google's totaling Google Universal forever. Time for a new car, folks. But on a more serious note, Google did have a little bit more planning, shall we say, and a smoother transition into this change. In 2016, they released Firebase, which was for mobile applications. It utilized the same user event properties model that the new GA4 utilizes. It also had some pretty unique and cool visualization and reporting techniques, a lot of which you see in the new GA4. You can kind of make it akin to GA Universal was the gas engine, Firebase was the new electronic car engine. Now I think we can all agree that there's going to be people on both sides that are never going to switch. So they don't want to duct tape or at least support both products. So yes, Google's requiring you to buy a new car. And hey, I've just got to bring this irony home. In 2021, not only did Ford Mustang come out with their first all-electronic version, but they also updated the body style back up to something that looks pretty darn good, and the interior, not so bad. So you're saying probably the same thing. No pain, no gain. So let's start training, Thomas.